the CBO, which is the budget office in the city, and us, Smart City. So I will be the point of contact for that, and we will have this communication. And usually we have very successful projects so far. Any question?
Yeah, I may have missed something. I'm just sort of not quite understanding what a deliverable would look like. Like what is it that we're actually doing?
So what we need here is an automated tool that helps us to make a data pipeline for adding analytics and deploy that on our on Podl, for instance. I don't know if I explain myself. So the input for this is going to be data sets provided by bureaus.
Okay.
Those data sets are going to be ingested, stored in Podl, and then once in Podl, you can add all these different analytics needed to generate the performance measure, and then just screen display that, or making that available through an API to any other business intelligence. So the city uses mostly uses Tableau, but it could be any other API. Anyway, so if you decide to support or join this, it's going to be really useful. By the way, our performance measures are actually going to be linked to a new revision of the Portland plan. That means that, so how far are we from getting the goals for the city, for instance? You are really going to be participating on all these new generation of digital services for Portlanders in general.
Doctor,
Yes.
so is it just APIs that you're looking for this project?
Can you repeat the question?
So just a library of APIs for this project? As
So
opposed to a dashboard or anything?
Just APIs. Yeah, we don't need dashboards or anything for that. Just the APIs and the process. The process for automation is basically what we need. Something that helps us for the ingestion, and that's related also to the other project, ingestion of data, safe storage, and then making that available for whatever other process we have on top of that. Yeah. It's quite straightforward. So the second project that I'm going to pitch here is actually more, is the same thing but with a more specific case. This is going to be sponsored by our Community and Civic Life Bureau and ourselves, and the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. And basically, it's the same. The city collects a lot of information through forms. You know, it's bureaucracy. You want a new permit, particularly with Civic Life. I'm going to drop a little bit. Particularly with Civic Life. There we go. Anyway, so we have like liquor noise programs. Some of them need permits. The cannabis program also. All these different boards, commission, different activities. Our Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. There are all these different energy scores from home or businesses that they need to report to the city how much energy they are consuming and usually from where that energy is coming from, and not necessarily from, when it's the case from businesses, sometimes it's from the building manager, sometimes it's from the utility company. But there are specific forms, and just like that, the pattern of service is very similar for housing, for instance. There are like rental units, there is a new tenant, and all the landlords need to report how much a new tenant is going to pay and what kind of unit is that available, if there was an eviction or not, and so on. So it's very specific. There are forms that we need to capture. Currently, and I don't know, maybe it's not that surprising for you, everything is done through spreadsheets, like Excel spreadsheets. And there are thousands of those. Like the latest spreadsheets for the liquor and the cannabis program It's like huge. It has like 2,000 rows, no, 2 million rows, or something like that. It's just insane, and it takes like several minutes to load in their computer. So it just makes sense, honestly. And it's been a challenge doing it like a tool as simple as that in the city because of a number of bureaucracies and how the city works with our IT services. So we are trying to demonstrate that we can actually do something effective that just saves so much time with the staff that we can actually help and support on that. So, just as a reference, so what we want to do is, I should have changed the order of this, but anyways. So for instance, this is an example for Podol and how we use Podol. In this case, we have mobility data from GTFS, from TriMet and Waze data available there, different events, and some other sources from other databases that go through API services ingested through some data broker or management system that go stored in a data warehouse. And then, on the other hand, they can be also re-ingested to the data broker and then go through analytics pipeline, rich data, and then through a service layer that we can just generate whatever we need to generate depending on who's the final user. We can have reports to the program managers, for instance, on how many permits have been completed or what's the state of in a specific process and so on, which is not what we're asking, but just what we're asking here is to facilitate the ingestion and secure storage on both, basically. And then having that available through an API. And just to explain a little bit more what Podol is this cloud enterprise resource that the city has. Currently it's still at the pilot stage. However, we want all these projects, these two projects will help us to understand the economics of deploying apps. So you can imagine for a city, understanding how much things cost is really important because that comes from your money. I mean, that's public money, and we want to make this efficient in terms of the cost to the city. And so far, we are still learning. We just as an anecdote, the first round of Podol was not very successful. We were actually, some integrators set up Podol in a way that it wasn't really utilized and it was burning like $40,000 per month without doing anything. It was insane. We stopped that and we want to really make that more effective and just build those pipelines that what we need only. And these two projects are going to help us to do that and then create value in the city. So the application again is going to be for this. So we're going to be working here specifically with community and civic life, with mostly the cannabis and liquor and noise programs, although they also have some other work around boards and commission within the city. And you can understand, for instance, particularly cannabis program, it has a lot of sensitive information, so it has to be, some of the things have to be securely placed, you know. Within the city, there are some policies that we cannot encrypt some of that data because of public records. And however, that doesn't necessarily mean that this information doesn't have to be securely stored. And then home energy scores, that's also something that we're going to, that those particular spreadsheets are like 150 columns by all the rows that you can imagine. So those are good challenges in general. Any question? Yes?
So could you go back to the graphic under the Podol proposed streaming data architecture? I just want some clarifications. Yeah, okay, so the project, you want us to build sort of a Portland City in-house tool for getting a bunch of forms from separate bureaus and then transferring it. Okay, so everything in the middle is not necessarily what you want, but could we have the option, say if we get your bare minimum transportation done, could we add maybe analytics pipelines
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the exploration. I mean, we have an idea of how that should be doing, or should be done, but we are open. So for instance, last project was actually really cool that the team developed a solution using a temporary solution that worked for us, but using just Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, and then they link the Google Spreadsheet to a web app, and then we can just replace fields in the Google Spreadsheet, and we can actually update the app. So it was actually pretty neat what they did.
Okay, so you're open to some web applications?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually the goal for these projects is just proof of concept, something that we can start exploring later the potential for those ideas. So you have freedom in terms of what you can do.
Yeah, okay, just two more. So do you want something produced like quickly then? I mean, you were saying that this has been over several crafts of development, but like, do you want?
You know, if you ask our colleagues from Civic Life, yes.
Okay.
They really need something now, because you can imagine every time that you open one spreadsheet, it just takes 10 minutes to open. Insane. But yeah, you need something.
And just one point, do we have someone to speak to? I imagine this is with, like, from one of the previous presentations, there was an issue where to avoid having to ask Oregon State for permission to do a different sort of organizing thing. Like there's a form that filled out that the county government did not want to have to go and get permission from the state. All of those sort of bureaucratic sort of policies that we may find ourselves maneuvering and handling instead. Is there someone we can talk to for that?
Yeah, likely we're going to be working mostly with open data. In case of sensitive data, we most likely are going to make like mock-up data just for developing code.
Okay.
And yeah, if there is any concern around privacy, things, sensitive data, things like that, so we would just navigate to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think you're motioning that like the SQL on the left ways and GTFS are all defined.
Yes.
Our job is to the right of that. And then we're looking at what pipeline data warehouse.
Yeah, from here
So
to
here, how much of that is defined and how much of that basically my question is what technologies are you expecting us to use? Do you have boundaries on technologies? Is there a data warehouse already available? That's something we're developing?
So the question is yes. I mean, definitely we already have some apps running using more or less the same approach. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's defined. I mean, it's just running because we had, particularly this case where we had transportation data, that's running. But the new case is not for transportation data, it's for civic data. So it's slightly different. And then the goal is with just try to keep innovation, new ideas. Another question? Yes?
Yeah, so you mentioned several times that a lot of this data comes in spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Is that how it actually enters your organization, or is there people at the interface between your organization, let's say liquor stores or whatever, that are putting it in the spreadsheets already?
Both. There are, it depends who you talk to, but some intake forms are straight spreadsheets. And some intake forms have some sort of database in between that later gets translated into a spreadsheet. So yeah, it depends on the bureau, but both cases happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in some cases, you bypass a spreadsheet, read this from the database to the one.
Yes, and again, what we want to do here is to automate that process. Less human kind of presence there.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
But it looks like you could use some of
That's pretty interesting.
Right, I really don't know that required, yeah. I mean, that sort of, scares me a little, is what kind of growth I need to have, like, hours. So, So it's nuts. I really like it. And like, yes, that's what I like do with my free time.
We noticed you have, like, can I just email you if I don't get this project?
Because I think a lot of groups are going to want this project, and if you guys are
There, next presenter is up. Please give her your attention.
that's my jam.
Alright, hi everyone, my name's Kelsey. I study graphic design and I curl. I went to PSU. I graduated about 3 years ago. I got here a little early so I could walk over to the building and see all that they've done to it. They got new chairs, which is very exciting. When I was there, all the chairs were old office chairs and they were all broken. So it's very exciting to see new chairs. Who knows what the sport of curling is? More than I expected. Cool. So I curl. I also work at the curling club. It's in Beaverton. It's called Evergreen Curling Club. I teach people how to curl, and then I also help maintain the ice, the curling surface. It's a whole detailed, involved process. You don't gotta worry about it.
It's an Olympic sport, guys.
It is. The U.S. won, the men won gold at the last Olympics. It was very exciting. So I work there, but I also work at Starbucks, not working in graphic design, which is fine. I discovered that I don't want to work at a big design firm and I'm fine doing my little passion projects. This project I'm talking about today was one of my passion projects. It wasn't from a class, although it's stuff I learned from class. And I did it for my senior portfolio project. So, called Curl Companion. The idea is that it's for curlers who don't have a team, who aren't Olympians or elite curlers, to use at their leisure for fun or just to get better. So one of the things about not being in a design firm or working in graphic design at all really is that I have a lot of ideas still and not all of the tools to make them a reality. So I've been wanting this to be a real thing for a while and just been sitting on it for 3 years basically. So here is my flow chart, 100% negotiable. But the idea is that you would very quickly be able to get to where you want to go, be able to take stats for your team, and then at the end have stats for your individual team members, so 4 people on a team, and then have overall stats for your team together. So who's it for? It's for club curlers, and club curlers are not going to the Olympics. So that's me, that's Bruce Irvin back there. No offense, Bruce. Yeah. idea I had when I was making this project was it'd be cool if you could measure stone using your camera on your phone. I have no idea if that's possible, but it sounded cool. Okay, that's the great thing about being a designer is that I just think of the ideas. And then a lot of times what happens when club curlers are curling is that we have like nitpicky rule questions because we don't have umpires around, and so it'd be really cool to have the rules handy, and especially if you could search the rules to find what you're looking for quickly, would be awesome. These are just some visuals of what I envisioned it would look like. I've got like a countdown to the Winter Olympics on there. It's very visual, just because I'm very visual, and I think that it'd be cool to be able to get more into the numbers, but that at a glance you'd be able to tell what the numbers are saying with the visuals. Another view of that. I really wanted to be able to be used while you are curling, and so it's about 40 degrees when you're curling, so everyone's bundled up and has gloves on, usually. And so your phone would be in your pocket, so it would have to be something you could very quickly pull out and hopefully use 3 or 4 taps to get what you need done and then put it away again. So very streamlined. Any questions? Yeah.
So, are you talking about like you would input your own scores each time each time you made a point, essentially, and then this would sort of track and analyze that for you?
Yeah, so there are different kinds of curling shots. So your guards are going to be up front, your defensive shots, your draws go into the house, the rings, and then you're also having takeouts, which are higher rate shots to hit things. Those can all go wrong in multiple ways. And so it would be a very quick, like, okay, this shot was a guard. It was on a scale of 0 to 4 or whatever. And this is why it was missed. Okay? Yeah.
Could you go back to the flowchart real
Yeah.
fast? Just for clarification, so is this like navigating through menus to get to specific features?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so then all of these, so for the most part, like these menus you have already thought up, right?
Yes, but knowing that I have a designer brain and not a coding brain.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you looking for Android or iOS or kind of?
iOS preferably, but either. Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much you can contribute to our project here, but you're a graphic designer, is that something that you'd be willing to contribute to the project?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
So, basically what you wanted to do is hold each person's individual scores, but also hold team scores. So you would basically want like a database of several teams and several